Amigos.
Hi, Keith with Tres Amigos. I'm going to take a few minutes here and show you how to make a really basic minor furniture repair with pine. Now this is under the assumption that the pine that you're using, it just has a wax-based finish, which all of our furniture does. It's pretty simple. If you find, first you need to identify where the crack in the pine is. In this case, we've got a crack that runs about 18 inches along the grain. Let me show you just the basic materials you're going to need to do this with. Sandpaper, 80 to 220 grit. 80 is always your roughest, and then the 220 is more of a fine grit. Anything in between is going to work just fine. Just anything that you can use to apply the wood filler. In this case, I've just got a real basic putty knife. Wood filler, it's paintable and sandable. Many brands out there to work just fine. You need to have wax to finish the job up. In this case, I'm using our Tres Amigos furniture wax, which we have available. A rag. And if you like, a hand sander is fine. This is an electric hand sander. This works pretty well. It makes the job a little easier when you've got items that are a little bit larger. But you can use just your hand. All right, let me go ahead and take you over to the crack here and show you how to fix this. The first thing that you want to do is just apply your putty. You can apply the putty pretty liberally to the crack. Now I'm just going to fix part of this here just so you can get the idea. Once you apply the putty and make sure the crack is entirely filled, you want to go ahead and wipe off as much of the excess as possible, because later that's just more you're going to have to sand. So you want to clean this up as best you can. Now as you can see here, the crack is completely filled. Now we're going to let this dry for about 10 minutes. Once that's completely dry, we'll come back here and we'll show you how to take your next step. Well, now that the putty is completely dry, which again, depending on your climate, will take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, you want to make sure it is completely dry. We're now going to go ahead and apply either a sandpaper, like I showed you before, or in this case, I'm just going to use a sander just for speed here to get it done. Now, keep in mind when you're using a hand sander or electric sander, you don't want to go with too heavy of a grit. You don't want to make more of a mess than when you started with. We can just go ahead and apply the sander here. You can see the residue here. We're just going to try to clean that off. Okay, we really didn't need to go any more than that. You can feel it by your hand that it's pretty smooth. In this case, I've used a 220 grit. 150 grit would probably have been better, but for this case, it works pretty well. You can see that it's nice and smooth. Now, I want to re-emphasize something with you. Make sure that the tabletop you're using is not got a polyurethane coating to it. Again, this is a wax coating, so the wax is going to allow, it's porous, so it's going to allow us to work through it. And the beauty of working with rustic furniture, especially our furniture, is that you can isolate any problems and work in just that area. I don't have to resand this whole top to get it to look beautiful again. It's very simple. I go ahead and get our Tres Amigos wax, available at an internet site near you. Apply a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. This is a medium wax, which is the same that comes with the table. Apply it liberally to the crack. Just kind of rub it in a little bit. Put the clean side down. Smooth it out. There's your crack. It's fixed. It's a really simple job to do. It fixes almost everything, and guess what? Now your table is more rustic, so now it's worth more. Sell it to your friends and make a little money. Well, that's all I got to tell you about making an easy repair with pine furniture. But I'll tell you what, we're always available at Tres Amigos. If you have any questions ever, take the 800 number, give us a call. We're going to be happy to help you out anytime. And also, if you need a printable version of this online, it is available. Just point and click, print it out, take it to your workshop, and do it on your own. Thanks again. This is Keith of Tres Amigos World Imports.
Tres Amigos.